If you've been learning French for a while now and you're still wondering why you don't sound French enough, or you may be wondering how French people can tell you're a foreigner, it might be because of the way you pronounce consonants. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how you pronounce consonants in French. Not all of them, but at least the main ones. Let's start with the consonant L. So, if I have this word here, bell. In English, I'm going to have the tip of the tongue going up like this. Bell, bell. See? Tip of the tongue up. Let me show you with my friend here. Okay, so here in English, you have the tip of the tongue here going right here. So right behind the front teeth, you have a little bump, and that's where you're going to put it in English when you pronounce bell. Okay, it's going to be around here. Bell. Okay? So now in French, how does that work? In French, it's not going to be the tip of the tongue only. You're going to have the whole front part of the tongue going up. Let's see. Belle, belle. See that the whole front part, okay, is up like this. But in English, it's like this. Okay, let me show you with my friend here. So in French, so the tip of the tongue is also here on that bump also, but the thing is you're going to flatten the tongue here on the teeth around. Okay, right here. Okay? So let's see. You're going to have in English belle and French belle. Belle. Okay? And that makes a big difference. Let me show you with the word ville. Okay? Ville. In English, if I want to say that word, I'm going to say ville, ville, ville. Okay? Tip of the tongue only. In French, ville, ville. Okay? Now, let's read the sentence. Paris est une belle ville. But if I say it the English way, Paris est une belle ville. Okay? And that's how we can tell you're a foreigner. Okay? So be careful with the position of the tongue with the letter L. Okay? Let's see examples with the letter T and D. So actually the position of T and D is very similar to the position of the L in French, meaning that you're going to have the front part that is going to go up like this. For example, table. Okay? But the difference with French is that in English, you're going to have the tip of the tongue right here on the bump, right? Just like the French L, actually. But in French, to say the T sound, we're going to really put the tongue, the front part of the tongue, on the front teeth, like this. Table, table, table. Okay? So you really need to put the tongue on the front teeth. Same thing with the D sound. So for example, let's say I take that word. It's the same in French. So in English, you're going to say deal, deal. And if you feel your tongue, you're going to feel it on the bump, right? You're going to feel it on the bump, not on the front teeth, okay, the tip of the tongue, right? But if you say it the French way, you're going to feel it on your teeth, on the front teeth. Deal, deal. Okay? In English, deal. In French, deal. Okay? Another thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people pronounce the letter J the same way in French, but actually we pronounce the letter J J. So it's not J, it's J. So, for example, I hear a lot of people say bonjour, 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 but it's actually not a j sound, it's j sound. Bonjour, bonjour. So how do you make the difference? So I'll show you with my friend here again. Okay, so the j sound is happening because you have the tip of the tongue touching the bump. Remember that bump that you have here? Okay, right behind the front teeth. So you're touching this, okay? J, j, j. Can you feel it? But in French, so you just want to make enough air pass right here. You need just an airflow, but you're not going to have the tip of the tongue touching here. Okay, so instead you're going to go really, really close like this. Okay, you're going to go really close to the roof of the mouth, and you're going to just let enough air pass. Okay, so this is j, j, and this is j. Okay, so here it's hard to show, but the tongue is a little bit rounded like this. Okay, and you have the side of the tongue touching the teeth in both cases, but the most important part is the tip. Okay, so now instead of saying bonjour, you can say bonjour. Okay, actually, you have the j sound in English too, with garage, for example, or the color beige. Okay, but just make sure that you don't pronounce it like the J you have in Jason or Jim, for example. Okay, next is the letter H. So forget about the letter H, we don't pronounce it. Okay, so when you have hotel in English, we have hotel. Okay, we don't have this burst of air that you have in English. So it's another thing that is very important to keep in mind. We don't have stress on syllables that like you have in English. So see that you say hotel, hospital. Okay, but we say hotel, hôpital. Okay, so it's going to be the same with other words starting with other consonants. So, for example, if I take the word passion, so see, you hear that burst of air coming out. Pa, pa, passion, passion. Okay, but the same word in French is going to be pa, passion, passion. There's no stress, okay, on it, and that you don't have this air, burst of air coming out. Another thing that I have, for example, possible, possible. Same word is possible, possible. See, it's very flat in French, okay? So just keep that in mind because it makes a big difference. And that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments if the video helped or if you have other types of difficulties in French, especially with pronunciation. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!